What if the biggest surprise in the galaxy wasn't a huge alien army, but humans? While the galaxy's leaders take their time and follow old rules, humans have been quietly building whole star systems faster than anyone expected. They don't just make weapons. They build entire worlds that can defend themselves and grow at the same time. Now, the galaxy is waking up to a new kind of power, one that doesn't play by the old rules. This is the story of how humans changed the game and shocked everyone in space. The council chamber was tense and quiet. Lieutenant Jaime Park stood calmly in the middle. Everyone waited as she spoke. "No other species has ever been like this," Jaime said. "They always want something. Protection, resources, or trade. But humans, we've been expanding on our own terms." Council Prime. Thelon's forearms moved nervously. "If you think you are not a threat, why tell us now? Why not keep expanding without permission?" Jaime showed her tablet. "Because 47 minutes ago, the Zarian Collective asked the hegemony of Vask for help to stop human expansion." The room was shocked. Ambassador Veltar's crystal body flickered. "How do you know about secret military communications?" "Because the hegemony is sending 3 battle fleets to the edge of human space," Jaime said, showing new ships moving on her screen. The council saw massive warships coming toward human colonies that humans set up without asking. "They now see humans as a threat," Jaime said quietly. The Kavani delegates made worried noises. "Your colonies have defenses." Jaime smiled. "Our colonies don't just defend themselves." She pointed at New Sacramento, a human colony on a planet others said was too dangerous to live on. It was thriving, building energy from a violent binary star system. The hegemony expected a weak outpost, but would find a powerful colony that had turned impossible conditions into an advantage. Council Prime Thelon's arms moved faster. "What do you mean?" Jaime explained. "You think planets are only habitable if they meet your standards. Humans don't just live there. We change the planet to fit our needs." She showed more human colonies on worlds others thought were unlivable. High radiation, crushing gravity, toxic atmospheres. Ambassador Veltar's crystal glowed dimly. "You say humans live where others cannot?" "Yes," Jaime said. "And not just survive. We grow, we thrive. We have 47 colonies now in systems you said no one could settle." Jaime showed the map with human colonies connected by fast travel routes that bypassed council trade lanes. "These systems control the best routes and resources," she said. "You mark them off because admitting they were valuable means admitting your ways are outdated." The council grew uneasy. "You mean galactic civilization has avoided the best systems on purpose?" Jaime nodded. "Exactly." She looked around the room. For 3 years, humans quietly built a new way of expanding. Faster, smarter, stronger. She showed numbers: 47 colonies, advanced terraforming, new trade with 16 species council ignored, and rapid growth in resources. Council Prime Thelon whispered, "How is this possible?" Jaime's voice was steady. "You never tried." She continued, "You spend years arguing about rules and protocols. Humans build. We solve problems by creating abundance, not by managing limits." The council was silent except for the hum of machines. Jaime said, "Your civilization has stopped growing because you chose safety and control over innovation and speed." She looked each delegate in the eye. "You are no threat because you refuse to compete where we are strong." She sat down. "My advice to Earth: call you a protected species, stable but limited, like a museum piece of bureaucracy." Thelon asked sharply, "You say we aren't advanced enough?" Jaime typed fast. "Earth's policy: don't interfere. We'll grow around you, keep small trade, and leave your systems alone." She smiled kindly. "You can argue your old ways for another 1,000 years. The rest of the galaxy is moving forward." Ambassador Veltar's form dimmed. Jaime smiled, sharper now. "And the hegemony fleet?" She showed the message. "Earth approved Phase 2 of expansion. Your fleets will meet a new kind of welcome. The council chamber was still buzzing with disbelief after Lieutenant Jaime Park's explosive revelation. No one could quite believe what they were hearing. Humanity wasn't struggling to survive. They were thriving in places considered impossible to inhabit. Worlds that should have been dead zones, toxic wastelands, or blasted by radiation had become human homes. And they weren't just surviving. They were building vast infrastructure, harnessing energy that galactic civilizations had only dreamed of. Jaime stepped forward again, her voice calm but firm. Our colonies are not mistakes. They are deliberate strategic moves. Each system we occupy sits on critical hyperspace routes, rich resource deposits, or unique research opportunities. We aren't simply expanding. We are reshaping the galactic map. A delegate from the Kavani species hissed nervously, their many mandibles clicking rapidly. How do you sustain such growth? Our intelligence shows no resource influx sufficient to support your colonies. Jaime smiled slightly. That's because your understanding of resource limits is based on outdated models. We've solved problems you still consider impossible. For example, New Sacramento, a colony established only 14 months ago on a planet your scans declared uninhabitable due to extreme electromagnetic interference, is now a thriving hub with nearly 50,000 inhabitants. They've turned what you saw as a threat into a power source. The tactical display shifted, showing glowing green dots marking human colonies, each nestled in seemingly hostile environments. Massive orbital installations surrounded planets, not just for habitation, but for energy generation, manufacturing, and defense. Council Prime. Thelon's forearms twitched in frustration. This defies all logic. How did you manage to terraform such worlds? Jaime's tone softened, almost pitying. You see terraforming as a battle against the environment. We see it as an opportunity to work with it. Our technology adapts to the unique challenges of each system instead of trying to force a single solution everywhere. It's not about dominating nature, but about collaborating with it. The chamber grew silent. Even the most vocal delegates were lost for words. Let me be clear, Jaime continued. Galactic civilization is stagnant. You've perfected slow, careful expansion, prioritizing protocols over progress, control over growth. Meanwhile, humanity moves quickly and adapts rapidly. We don't wait for committees or permissions. We act, learn, and evolve. She paused and looked each delegate in the eye. That's why the hegemony is mobilizing fleets to stop us. But it's too late. We've already outpaced you. A wave of whispers rippled through the chamber. For centuries, galactic powers believed they were the pinnacle of civilization, guardians of order and progress. Now they realized that humanity had bypassed them, building colonies, technologies, and alliances faster than anyone imagined. Jaime returned to her seat, but kept the tablet raised. My recommendation to Earth's Expansion Council is simple. Classify established galactic powers as a protected species. You are no longer our competitors. You are relics of a bygone era. We will continue to grow around you. The room fell into a stunned silence. The concept was audacious, an official declaration that humanity had already won the expansion race. Jaime's tablet beeped. She glanced at it and smiled. Phase 2 of our expansion protocol has just been authorized. The hegemony fleet will arrive at New Sacramento in less than 18 hours, and they will be met by a welcoming committee. The delegates braced themselves, but Jaime's confident grin left no doubt. Humanity was ready. The atmosphere in the council chamber shifted dramatically as the emergency alarms blared through the room. Jaime's tablet was alive with urgent incoming data and frantic ship-to-ship communications from the forward scouts stationed at New Sacramento. The tension was palpable. The hegemony's battle fleets had just dropped out of hyperspace near New Sacramento. A human colony that had expanded much faster and farther than anyone had anticipated, and with technology that defied conventional understanding. Jaime's eyes scanned the tactical display projected on her tablet, which showed 3 massive battle fleets tightly clustered near the edge of the star system. Their formations were defensive, their ships heavily armed and clearly prepared for combat. But what immediately caught the attention of every species in the room was the sheer scale of the orbital infrastructure surrounding the planet below. The orbital installations dwarfed the largest warships in the fleet. Gigantic platforms pulsed with energy, and swarms of autonomous construction drones were visibly harvesting and assembling material from the asteroid belt, constructing vast new structures at an unprecedented pace. It was as if the entire system was alive and continuously evolving, a sprawling, self-repairing fortress. Fleet Commander Zarveth's voice crackled with confusion and urgency over the communication channel. How can this be? Energy output exceeds known theoretical maximums. The construction rate defies all known limits. These systems are building faster than our sensors can track. Jaime took a deep breath and began to explain. This is human engineering philosophy in action. We don't separate peacetime industries from wartime manufacturing. Our colonies operate on a continuum of problem-solving, allocating resources as needed between construction, defense, and expansion. The Corvani delegates were visibly agitated. Their mandibles clicked rapidly as they tried to comprehend what they were witnessing. Are you saying your colonies can simultaneously build and defend in real time? Exactly, Jaime replied with calm conviction. Our infrastructure is designed to be multifunctional. The same orbital habitat modules can be transformed into missile launchers. The power plants used for terraforming can be reconfigured to power defensive energy shields or weapons. Our transportation networks can mobilize colonists or fleets depending on demand. She tapped the screen again, zooming in to reveal the flurry of activity. The asteroid belt was alive with self-replicating construction swarms, nano-machines that harvested raw materials and assembled new infrastructure autonomously without direct human intervention. These machines could adapt their designs dynamically, building habitats, factories, or weapons platforms on the fly. The chatter from the hegemony fleet shifted from confusion to panic. Recommend immediate strategic withdrawal. This is beyond our military doctrine. Energy and weapon signatures indicate planetary-scale defense capabilities never seen before. Council Prime. Thelon's voice trembled with disbelief. How many of your colonies have this capability? Jaime glanced at her tablet as if consulting a routine schedule. All of them. Our colonies are not simply defensive. They're capable of rapid, adaptive growth. We build civilizations that can shift roles seamlessly between growth, defense, and offense. The tactical display zoomed out to reveal the entire New Sacramento system. The massive orbital installations and construction swarms were just the beginning. The asteroid belts were in flux, reorganizing into massive construction projects that spanned the system. New habitats, factories, and what looked like artificial planetary frameworks were emerging. The limits of our construction technology are essentially the speed of design and the availability of raw materials, Jaime said quietly. There's no fixed upper bound. We build until we have enough infrastructure to meet our needs, and then build more. Ambassador Veltar's crystalline form flashed in frantic pulses, almost frantic. This contradicts everything we understand about galactic logistics and warfare. Jaime smiled, though it was tinged with something cold and precise. That's because your doctrines assume fixed resource constraints and limited construction speed. Humans have removed those constraints. The communications channel shifted again, this time revealing a live conversation between Fleet Commander Zarveth and a young voice, Director Chen from New Sacramento Orbital Operations. Hegemony Fleet, welcome to our system. Are you here for a tour or military assessment? The tone was casual, almost friendly. The chamber fell silent, the alien delegates stunned that a human would address a hostile fleet with such ease. Jaime explained. Director Chen doesn't understand the concept of hostility in the traditional sense. She grew up in a system that can rebuild faster than it can be damaged. There's no reason to feel threatened. The conversation continued, with Chen discussing technical details of their construction, mining, and terraforming operations with the fleet commander, who struggled to maintain military decorum. "Fleet Commander Zarveth," Chen said brightly, "we developed localized gravity manipulation technology initially for asteroid mining, holding massive rocks perfectly still while we work on them. Turns out it's also great for immobilizing enemy ships." Suddenly, the three fleets were frozen in place, their engines running but unable to move. Communications, weapons, and power systems remained fully operational, except the ships were trapped. The room's temperature seemed to drop as the alien delegates realized the implications. Jaime's voice cut through. "We don't just build defenses. We build infrastructure that defends itself by preventing enemies from moving or attacking effectively." The fleet commander protested, "This is an act of war." Chen's voice was apologetic but playful. "Sorry, didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. Let me reduce the gravity field so you can maneuver a bit." The ships jerked forward, then slowed, now limited to about 15% of normal maneuverability. Jaime looked around the room, the gravity of the situation sinking in. This demonstration is the future of warfare, where construction and defense are inseparable. Your tactics won't work against opponents who rebuild faster than you can destroy. Council Prime. Thalen's forearms twitched nervously. "Your military capabilities are unlimited?" "No," Jaime said firmly. "Our military capabilities are integrated into our civilian growth. Our colonies don't build armies first. They build civilizations that can become armies if needed." Director Chen then made a bold proposal to the fleet commander. Why not join forces? Work together on advanced defensive innovations. Use their tactical skills for building something better. The alien commanders were stunned. The rigid boundaries of galactic military politics shattered in real time before their eyes. Jaime sat back down, watching the council process the seismic shift. This is how humanity expands, by breaking every rule you thought was set in stone. The council chamber was thick with tension as Jaime stood before the representatives of 7 powerful galactic civilizations. The air felt charged with anticipation, as if everyone was waiting for something monumental. And in a way, they were. Jaime was about to shatter centuries of assumptions and reveal a truth they never expected. She looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each delegate, some curious, some doubtful, and others outright hostile. But Jaime's voice was steady, confident. This was not just a report. It was a declaration. "If what I've shown you is accurate," she began, "then human expansion is not simply rapid. It is fundamentally different from anything you have seen before. We do not move from system to system in slow, measured steps. We leap forward by creating entire new worlds, star systems, and infrastructure built to our exact needs. And we do this fast." Jaime tapped her tablet, and the tactical display shifted to reveal a vast star map dotted with glowing points, each representing a human colony, orbital habitat, or trade hub. These are not isolated outposts. They form a vast, interconnected network that can adapt, grow, and defend itself. We don't just colonize planets. We build thriving civilizations. The room fell silent again, the weight of Jaime's words sinking in. The traditional galactic powers rely on slow, bureaucratic expansion. They negotiate treaties, mark territories, and grow cautiously to avoid conflict. But humans don't live by those rules. We solve problems by building new solutions, not by debating endlessly. The Corvani delegates, who had been clicking nervously before, now exchanged quiet murmurs. Even the usually stoic ethereal seemed intrigued, their energy form pulsing softly. Jaime continued, "Let me tell you about New Sacramento, a single human colony that started 14 months ago and has already transformed into a complex star system with multiple artificial worlds. We've built orbital habitats, asteroid mining stations, and even started constructing artificial planets. We create environments tailored for specific purposes: industrial manufacturing, research, habitation. all designed to maximize efficiency and growth. She gestured toward the screen, showing detailed images of massive construction swarms harvesting asteroids and assembling structures in real time. Our colonies don't wait for a peaceful time to build. Construction and defense happen simultaneously. Our infrastructure is designed to be adaptive, able to defend itself while growing. There's no sharp line between civilian and military here. Jaime's tone softened slightly. You see, human colonies don't distinguish between peacetime and wartime manufacturing. We allocate resources based on immediate needs, but the underlying processes are continuous. This is why our colonies can outpace and outbuild traditional military fleets. One of the Corvani delegates spoke up, their mandibles clicking rapidly. How do you maintain order across such rapid expansion? How do you avoid chaos and conflict? Jaime smiled. That's a good question. We rely on a culture of problem-solving and empowerment. Instead of endless bureaucracy, we give authority to those closest to the problem. Our systems are transparent and flexible. When issues arise, we don't wait for layers of approval. We innovate solutions on the spot, and if they work, we scale them rapidly. She paused, scanning the room. This approach makes us unpredictable, and that unpredictability is a strategic advantage. Established galactic powers are stuck in old ways. Their slow, careful expansion may be safe, but it is also vulnerable to disruption. The ethereal delegate tilted their energy form, a sign of curiosity. But what about governance? How do you manage the sheer scale of your civilization? Jaime nodded. Our governance systems are decentralized and technology-driven. Data flows freely, and decisions are made using a mix of AI-assisted analytics and human judgment. We trust our people to act responsibly, but the system can quickly detect and respond to issues. This keeps us agile. She brought up new data on her tablet, showing population growth, technological innovations, and trade statistics. In under 2 years, we've developed 17 new terraforming methods, 43 advanced construction technologies, and defense systems that protect entire star systems. Our colonies are hubs of innovation and cooperation. The room buzzed with murmurs as the delegates absorbed the scale of human achievement. Council Prime Thalen's voice broke through. But how do the other galactic powers respond? Surely they would view this rapid growth as a threat. Jaime's expression grew serious. Some have tried to contain us. The hegemony, for example, sent 3 battle fleets to confront us, but their fleets found themselves trapped, unable to maneuver against our adaptive defenses. Others are cautious, watching but hesitant to engage because they don't understand our capabilities. She looked around the chamber, voice firm. That's the real power of human expansion. We don't wait for permission or approval. We build, we innovate, and we grow, often faster than others can respond. The Corvani delegates were quiet now, their clicking reduced to thoughtful murmurs. The ethereal shimmered contemplatively. Even Council Prime Thalon seemed unsettled. Jaime smiled faintly. This is just the beginning. Humans will keep pushing boundaries, exploring new worlds, developing new technologies, and building civilizations that can thrive anywhere. She paused, her tone quiet but resolute. The galaxy is vast. We're not limited by outdated rules or fear of change. We create abundance where others see scarcity. And as long as we do, the future belongs to us. The room was silent, but charged with the weight of a new era dawning, one where human adaptability and bold innovation challenged the slow, stagnant order of galactic civilization. Jaime returned to her seat, calm and confident. That is my final report. Council Prime. Galactic civilization has settled into stagnation, trapped by rules that prevent true growth. Humanity, on the other hand, is not limited by those rules. We are the future. The council chamber was thick with tension. Jaime's report had shaken the very foundation of galactic politics. Every delegation sat in stunned silence, their minds racing to process the implications of what they had just witnessed. Humanity was no longer a fledgling species, cautiously tiptoeing around established protocols. It was a force that had broken free from every constraint the galaxy had ever known. Council Prime. Thelon's voice cut through the silence, grave and steady. Your claims are extraordinary. You say your colonies expand without limits, build defenses faster than any known technology, and innovate at a pace we cannot match. But what guarantees do you offer that such growth won't unravel the delicate order we have maintained for millennia? Jaime met his gaze calmly. The order you maintain is stagnation, not stability. Humanity thrives because we embrace change. Our history teaches us that growth, when guided by adaptability and innovation, is the key to survival. We do not expand recklessly. Our expansion is methodical, creative, and engineered to overcome every challenge. Thelon's mandibles clicked in frustration. Yet you ignore our treaties, colonize systems without consent, and your military capabilities threaten established fleets. Those treaties were designed to preserve the status quo, to freeze progress, Jaime replied without hesitation. Earth's Expansion Council authorized our Phase 2 precisely because we recognized that the galaxy cannot afford to remain frozen in place. Other delegates began to voice their concerns. The ethereal, beings of pure energy, expressed their worries about humanity's lack of respect for diplomatic norms. Our civilization values harmony, they said. Your methods could destabilize entire regions, sparking conflict instead of peace. Jaime nodded. Harmony built on fear of change is fragile. We offer a future driven by innovation, where strength and adaptability ensure peace. If others cannot keep pace, they will fall behind. The Kvani, insect-like creatures with sharp mandibles, spoke of resource strain and disrupted trade agreements. Jaime smiled. We don't compete for resources. We create abundance. Our technology harvests materials efficiently, recycles endlessly, and lets infrastructure grow without limit. The room was filled with uneasy whispers. Could humanity truly overturn millennia of galactic order? Back on Earth, the decision to authorize Phase 2 was deliberate. The Council had studied Jaime's findings and saw the truth. Humanity's future was either to remain confined or to boldly become a galactic power through creativity and resilience. Then, the true test arrived. The hegemony's 3 battle fleets reached New Sacramento, a colony Jaime had described in detail. Warships bristling with weapons, ready for battle. Yet what they encountered was unexpected. Director Chen, a young prodigy leading orbital operations, greeted the incoming fleet with surprising calm and casual confidence. "Welcome to New Sacramento," she said cheerfully over comms. "We hope you enjoy the tour." Instead of battle, the hegemony fleets found themselves trapped. Localized gravity fields, originally designed to hold asteroids perfectly still, immobilized the warships. Engines ran and weapons charged, but the ships could not move. They were stuck. "Isn't that neat?" Chen said excitedly. "Sometimes you just have to hold a big rock in place to work on it. Turns out it works just as well on warships." The Council watched as the tactical display showed the hegemony ships held like puppets, powerless despite their firepower. Pride and confidence began to fade from their ranks. The New Sacramento system itself was no longer just a colony. It had become a fortress and a beacon of human strength. Massive orbital habitats spun around the star. Swarms of self-replicating nanomachines mined asteroids and built infrastructure at an unheard-of pace. Artificial planets were being assembled, each with a specific purpose: manufacturing, research, living space, defense. Jaime explained, "This system can defend itself against any threat, and it can keep building more defenses even while under attack." The hegemony commanders were bewildered. Their centuries-old doctrines had prepared them for fleet-to-fleet combat and sieges of isolated planets. But they had never faced a civilization whose infrastructure rebuilt faster than it could be destroyed. Fleet Commander Zarveth's voice grew tight with stress as he radioed for guidance. Our manuals provide no answers for fighting an opponent who builds faster than we can destroy. How do we fight a civilization that turns its entire world into an army? Jaime smiled grimly. You don't fight it. You adapt or you perish. What surprised everyone next was not a military strike, but a diplomatic offer. Director Chen reached out to the hegemony commanders, not with threats, but with an invitation. She offered them a chance to join humanity's effort, to bring their tactical skills into a place free from bureaucracy and scarcity, where their expertise could be used to build and innovate on an unprecedented scale. Why waste your talents enforcing stagnation? Chen asked. Come build with us. The offer stirred something unexpected in the hegemony ranks. Pride and tradition battled curiosity and opportunity. Could they embrace this new vision, or would they cling to old ways and fade into irrelevance? Jaime explained that this was how humanity expanded, not just by claiming territory, but by recruiting allies, merging ideas, and creating communities that thrived on innovation. New Sacramento was already home to representatives from 19 different civilizations, engineers, scientists, families who chose to live where scarcity was solved and creativity reigned. We build communities, Jaime said. We create abundance. That is our true power. The chamber buzzed with the dawning realization that humanity was no longer just a rising star. It was a galaxy-changing force. Military doctrines, diplomatic protocols, economic models, all suddenly seemed outdated. The galactic powers faced a choice: evolve and join humanity's vision, or be left behind. Jaime's final words echoed in the chamber, sharp and clear. The future belongs to those who dare to build it. Humanity has already begun. The rest of the galaxy is watching and learning. The aftermath of the New Sacramento encounter sent shockwaves throughout the Galactic Council. What had once been a room filled with confident delegations from established civilizations was now clouded with uncertainty, fear, and reluctant awe. For centuries, these species had controlled vast swaths of space, each following a strict protocol of measured expansion, carefully limited growth, and conservative technological development. They believed themselves secure in their traditions, their bureaucracy, and their slow but steady methods. But now, faced with the reality of humanity's rapid, boundless expansion and the unparalleled technology powering it, their old assumptions began to crumble. Jaime Park stood quietly in the center of the chamber, holding her tablet like a shield and a weapon at once. Her calm, steady voice cut through the murmurs as she began to address the council once more. What you have witnessed in New Sacramento is not an anomaly. It is the standard for human expansion. The room grew still, all eyes fixed on Jaime, her every word carrying the weight of undeniable truth. We don't limit ourselves by the constraints you impose on yourselves, she continued. When resources run low, we don't simply ration and restrict. We invent ways to generate abundance. When infrastructure is threatened, we don't scramble to repair. We build systems that adapt and regenerate autonomously. When traditional methods fail, we design new ones without hesitation. The council members exchanged uneasy glances. Some whispered quietly in their own languages, trying to grasp the magnitude of what Jaime was describing. Jaime tapped her tablet and projected a holographic image into the air. The sprawling New Sacramento system, a marvel of artificial worlds, habitats, and orbital structures. This is not a single colony. It's a thriving star system, constructed from the ground up in just over a year, Jaime explained. Artificial planets tailored for specific purposes: industrial production, habitation, research, defense. Each engineered with precision to optimize resources, energy use, and adaptability. She gestured toward the intricate construction swarms busy assembling new structures in real time. Our technology isn't just faster, it's smarter. Nanomachines that break down raw materials and rebuild them into whatever is needed. infrastructure that evolves alongside our colonies, systems designed to protect themselves while expanding their capabilities. A delegate from the Corvani species, their mandibles clicking rapidly in disbelief, raised a question. But what of the limits? Surely there must be a point where expansion is no longer feasible, where resources run dry or systems become unstable. Jaime smiled, her expression patient but firm. That's where you're thinking like a civilization stuck in the past. Resource scarcity isn't a permanent condition. It's an engineering problem to be solved. We've developed technologies that harness energy on scales you might consider impossible. Our colonies don't just consume resources, they recycle, regenerate, and even improve the environments they inhabit. She tapped her tablet again, bringing up data showing exponential growth in colony populations, construction speed, and technological innovation. Humanity doesn't grow by slowly inching forward, constrained by fear or tradition. We leap ahead, creating abundance where others see limits. This is the future, whether the Galactic Council likes it or not. Murmurs turned to tense whispers. Ambassador Veltar's crystalline form flickered with uneasy pulses, while Council Prime Thalon shifted uneasily in his seat. Jaime's voice lowered, carrying a sharper edge. And that is why I recommend the Council officially classify the established galactic powers as protected species. You are no longer a threat to humanity. You are a relic, a stable but limited equilibrium, to be preserved as curiosities in the shadow of our expansion. The chamber fell silent. No one had expected such blunt honesty. Council Prime Thalon finally spoke, his voice tight with disbelief. You're saying we are obsolete, that we are no longer equals or competitors? That's exactly what I'm saying, Jaime replied. You've chosen slow, careful, inefficient growth. You prioritize process over results, protocol over innovation, control over growth. Meanwhile, we're building new worlds, new systems, new civilizations. We don't wait for permission or debate. We act. She looked each delegation in the eye. You can debate the merits of your methods for another 1,000 years if you want. While you do, the rest of the galaxy is moving forward without you. The gravity of Jaime's words settled over the chamber like a heavy fog. Suddenly, Jaime's tablet chimed, breaking the silence. If you're wondering about the military response to our unauthorized expansion, she said with a slight smile, let me show you what we're working with. The tactical display shifted, revealing formations in space far larger and more imposing than anything the Council had seen before. Massive fleets, accompanied by sprawling construction complexes, moved in seamless coordination. The Hegemony fleet is on its way to New Sacramento, Jaime announced calmly. They'll arrive in less than 18 hours. The Council's nervousness turned to alarm as the tactical feed showed the arrival of 3 entire battle fleets. Massive warships equipped for planetary assault, arriving to confront what they believed was a rogue human colony. But Jaime's smile didn't waver. They'll be met by a welcoming committee. A wave of confusion and fear rippled through the delegations. Council Prime Thalon's voice was barely a whisper. What kind of welcoming committee? The kind that's been wondering what happens when you convert 3 battle fleets into raw materials for orbital construction projects. The chamber's emergency alarm suddenly blared, but the source wasn't the building's systems. It was Jaime's tablet, transmitting a real-time military communications feed from New Sacramento. The chatter was frantic, almost chaotic. The Hegemony forces were confused, unable to understand the rapid construction and defensive maneuvers unfolding around them. Jaime explained with cold clarity, their battle fleets have arrived expecting a fight. Instead, they're facing a system that rebuilds faster than it can be damaged. The tactical display zoomed in, showing enormous orbital installations growing visibly, expanding layer by layer as swarms of nanomachines worked continuously. The technology you're witnessing is self-replicating construction, Jaime said. We seed asteroids with nanomachines. They harvest raw materials, assemble structures, then duplicate themselves to build more. The council members struggled to grasp the implications. A delegate from the ethereal species, her energy form compressed and tense, finally voiced what many feared. "Are you saying these installations are military assets?" Jaime nodded. "We don't see civilian and military infrastructure as separate categories. Habitat modules can become missile launchers. Power plants can energize defensive weapons. Transport networks move colonists or fleets as needed. Everything is multi-purpose, adaptive." The communications chatter grew desperate. Weapon signatures, planetary-scale defenses, no known configurations. The Council's military experts were overwhelmed. "Our doctrines assume fleets fight fleets, colonies defend planets. But what do you do against a civilization whose infrastructure reproduces faster than you can destroy it?" The reality sank in. Human military power wasn't separate from their civilian growth. They built civilizations that could transform into armies on demand. As Jaime spoke, a communication request came from the ground. A young, cheerful voice filled the chamber. "Hegemony Fleet, this is Director Chen from New Sacramento Orbital Operations. Welcome to our system. Are you here for a tour, or is this a military situation?" The room was stunned. The commander sent to assess human expansion was being greeted with casual hospitality by someone barely out of her 20s, someone who had never known the limits the council imposed on themselves. Jaime explained, "Director Chen's generation has never lived in a universe constrained by scarcity or technological limits. They see problems as challenges to be solved with creativity and resources." Director Chen spoke about new technologies, advanced mining techniques, adaptive armor systems, and localized gravity manipulation. Innovations that blurred the line between civilian and military applications. She even offered to demonstrate, holding the invading fleet in place with gravitational fields originally designed for asteroid mining. Ships stopped in space, engines running but unable to move. "This technology is non-lethal," Chen explained brightly. "It's designed to hold large objects steady while we work on them, but it works just as well to neutralize enemy fleets without firing a shot." The council members watched as the fleet commander struggled to maintain dignity, trapped in a physics demonstration. Jaime concluded, "This is how humanity recruits allies, by showing what's possible when you remove limitations and empower creativity. The future of galactic civilization is here, and it's built on adaptability, abundance, and relentless innovation." The silence in the Galactic Council chamber was profound. After Jaime's demonstration and Director Chen's audacious invitation, the once imperious delegates now sat quietly, forced to reconsider everything they thought they knew about galactic power, progress, and survival. Council Prime Thalon's multi-armed frame moved sluggishly, a visible sign of his mental strain. "Is it possible," he asked slowly, "that humanity's strength is not just in technology, but in something far deeper? In the way you think, the way you approach problems?" Jaime nodded, her voice calm but resolute. "Exactly. You can have all the technology in the universe, but without adaptability, creativity, and the will to act decisively, it won't save you. Humans don't wait for permission, and we don't accept limitations as permanent. We build solutions." The ethereal delegates, their shimmering forms flickering nervously, murmured among themselves. So the established orders, the careful protocols, the slow measured expansion, all outdated, one whispered. "And we are the relics," added the Corvani delegate, mandibles clicking in resigned frustration. Jaime stood firm. "We offer an invitation, not just for dialogue, but for partnership. Join us, or watch as we redefine the future of the galaxy." The chamber's attention shifted to a holographic transmission. Director Chen's face appeared again, her tone bright and hopeful. "We've built not just infrastructure, but community. Over 8 million people live in New Sacramento alone, supported by billions more across our colonies. We're a civilization designed to grow, adapt, and defend itself seamlessly." She gestured toward a spinning star system showing newly terraformed worlds, artificial planets rising from asteroid fields, and gleaming orbital cities. This is what happens when you remove limits, and it's only the beginning. Jaime took back the floor. This is the new reality. Galactic powers will either adapt and thrive or resist and fade away. We won't stop expanding. We won't stop innovating. And we won't be constrained by your outdated rules. The council fell into a tense silence, but the seed of change had been planted. As the days passed, the ripples of this confrontation spread far beyond the council chamber. Across human colonies, the news was met with a mixture of excitement and determination. The younger generation, born into a universe of possibility, saw their place in the galaxy not as guests, but as pioneers, builders, and defenders of a new order. Director Chen became a symbol, a beacon of what humanity could achieve when unfettered by fear or bureaucracy. Her innovative approaches to terraforming, defense, and diplomacy set a new standard for all colonies to follow. Meanwhile, the traditional galactic powers scrambled to respond. Some attempted to update their methods, to break free from their rigid doctrines. Others resisted, fearful of losing their status and control. The Galactic Council itself was forced into a difficult position: negotiate with this unpredictable, rapidly advancing human civilization, or risk being sidelined entirely. Meanwhile, at New Sacramento, preparations began for the next phase of humanity's expansion. Colonies were no longer isolated outposts, but nodes in a vast, interconnected network of systems capable of independent defense and rapid development. Self-replicating construction swarms worked tirelessly, building new worlds from raw asteroids, while advanced terraforming tech transformed barren rocks into thriving ecosystems. Defense systems integrated adaptive armor, localized gravity manipulation, and quantum resonance drives, ensuring the colonies could repel any threat, even entire fleets. And behind it all was the human spirit, a relentless drive to push forward, to solve problems, to create abundance. In the midst of this, Jaime Park received a personal message from Earth's Expansion Council. They had approved Phase 3 of the expansion protocol, a coordinated push into previously unclaimed space, using the lessons learned at New Sacramento as a blueprint. Jaime knew this would bring new challenges, new encounters with unknown species, uncharted territories, and unforeseen dangers. But she was ready. Humanity was ready. Because the future wasn't just about technology or power, it was about vision. And humanity's vision was limitless. The Galactic Council chamber felt heavier than ever, as if the very weight of the galaxy's future rested on the shoulders of every delegate within. The revelations from New Sacramento had shattered centuries of tradition, exposing the fragility of long-held power structures and the limitations of a stagnant order. Jaime Park sat quietly, her tablet dimmed, but her mind sharp and focused. The battle had not been fought with weapons or fleets, but with ideas, and in that arena, humanity had emerged victorious. The question now was how the galaxy would respond. Outside the chamber, the news had spread like wildfire. Across star systems and trading hubs, whispers turned to conversations, and conversations grew into debates. Some species viewed humanity's rise with awe, others with fear, and many with reluctant admiration. The council was called into an emergency summit. The elders, generals, diplomats, each came bearing their hopes and fears. What path would they choose? Would they cling to the old ways, tightening their grip and resisting change? Or would they embrace a new future, one shaped by the boundless ambition and innovation of humanity? Jaime was called to address the summit. Her voice, clear and calm, echoed through the great hall. We are not here to conquer or destroy. We are here to expand, yes, but not at the cost of others. Our vision is one of growth through collaboration, innovation, and resilience. The galaxy need not be divided by fear and limitation. It can be united by progress. Murmurs swept the room. She continued, The technologies and philosophies you see in New Sacramento are the result of human adaptability, a willingness to question norms, to solve problems creatively, and to act decisively. We don't build armies separate from our civilizations. We build civilizations that can defend themselves while growing stronger. The ethereal delegates floated thoughtfully, their luminous forms pulsing softly. Your approach challenges everything we have believed about galactic expansion, one admitted. It is unsettling but undeniable. The Corvani, still recovering from shock, nodded slowly. Perhaps there is wisdom in this human adaptability you speak of. It is not weakness to evolve, but strength. Meanwhile, the colonies thrived. Planets once barren were now hubs of commerce, science, and culture. Artificial worlds orbited distant stars, each tailored to unique purposes, from heavy industry to biodiverse reserves. Self-replicating swarms tirelessly harvested asteroids and constructed vast infrastructure with precision and speed no previous civilization could match. Trade routes flourished, bringing diverse species together, while military systems integrated seamlessly with civilian projects. Adaptive armor and localized gravity manipulation, no longer just ideas, but everyday realities. At the heart of this expansion was a simple truth. Humanity did not see obstacles as dead ends, but as puzzles to be solved. Scarcity became abundance, limitation gave way to possibility, and fear was replaced with curiosity. The galaxy was no longer a static stage where ancient powers dictated terms. It was a dynamic, ever-changing frontier shaped by human will and ingenuity. Back at the Galactic Council, a new spirit emerged. Rather than opposing humanity, many delegates sought alliance, eager to learn, adapt, and participate in this new era. Diplomatic exchanges grew more frequent, joint projects formed, and even former rivals began to cooperate. The Council itself began reforming, shifting from rigid bureaucracy to a platform for shared growth. Jaime reflected on the journey. From the quiet observation room where she first challenged stagnation to the center stage of galactic transformation, she had witnessed the power of human adaptability in action. She knew challenges remained, unknown threats lurking beyond explored space, cultural tensions to navigate, and the ever-present need to innovate. But she was confident. Humanity's future was not written in stone, but forged every day in the laboratories, shipyards, and minds of its people. As the summit drew to a close, Jaime addressed the gathered delegates one last time. The galaxy is vast, full of mysteries and challenges, but also of opportunities. We invite you all to join us, not just as neighbors, but as partners. Together, we can build a future where innovation and resilience define existence. The room erupted in applause, a sound not just of approval, but of hope. Outside, the stars shimmered brighter, as if the universe itself acknowledged a new dawn. Humanity was no longer just a species among many. It was a catalyst for change, a symbol of possibility, and a force that would shape the fate of countless worlds. And as fleets prepared to embark on the next phase of expansion, as construction swarms continued their relentless work, and as minds dreamed of the impossible, one truth remained clear. The future belonged to those who dared to build it. In the cold silence between the stars, power is no longer measured in fleets or weapons, but in the ability to create. New Sacramento did not conquer the hegemony's fleets. It welcomed them. It showed them a galaxy not built on scarcity, but on endless possibility. And in doing so, it planted a seed, one that would grow in every mind that dared to imagine more. Now, the galaxy is watching. Some in fear, some in hope. Because if humanity can turn its enemies into builders, what else might they change? And somewhere, on the unfinished surface of that second artificial planet, the lights burn through the night. The work never stops. This is not the end. This is only the first blueprint. The question is, whose world will they build next?
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more powerful HFY stories every week. Got an idea or suggestion? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Your support truly means a lot and helps this channel grow. Until next time, stay curious, stay human,